Hello and welcome to Beyond Borders, the LU Off-Campus Programs podcast. Today I am here with another amazing guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Micheal Greenland. I'm a junior. I'm a global studies and gender studies major with a minor in German. And I recently was at the IES Center in Vienna, Austria, with the European and Culture Society program.
Gotcha. Cool. So I feel like I'm gonna start by addressing I don't know if I don't think it's an elephant in the room, but I just wanted to give you a shout out for your takeover that you did on Off Campus Programs Instagram because it was like honestly the best one I've ever seen. You're like the new model for when I ask people to do takeovers. I'm like,
Mhm.
reference Micheal Greenland's.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it
I
was so
was
good.
I was like really nervous about like what to do or like the day like I should do it on
Mm-hmm.
because I was thinking because like I sent you the email about like doing it on like my like business of wine class,
Yeah.
which like I normally have in the afternoons, which is just a lot. But I just also like remembered that like I had a concert I was gonna go to, so I was like, yeah, why not just
Mm-hmm.
show that process?
Yeah. No, it was excellent. So yeah, just a little shout out to you. But I guess let's get into the actual content of like how did you decide which program you were going to study abroad with first?
First, like I kind of was thinking about like doing the London Center
Mm-hmm.
because like my advisor, Delma, she's within the Spanish department. She told me about like it being like the easiest one to get into and
Mm-hmm.
for it to like fulfill a lot of like the requirements I already had. But then also that like I should try to do something with my like German minor,
Yeah.
which like she was big on. But then also like my major requires me to go abroad as well too. So I was already planning on I guess like choosing either between like the London Center or through Germany or
Mm-hmm.
Austria, which was like the three biggest choices that I had to make.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and after I guess like I made that choice of like Austria, it became easier with like asking the people within the German department, like Professor Petra Vasquez, and then Professor Alison Gunther Paul
Mm-hmm.
also was very helpful in like the process of like knowing like what credits I need to have and like being able to like go there and like what things I should like look out for when going and what places I should visit and stuff.
Yeah, well that's awesome. I love it when faculty can help like guide to those sorts of decisions. So you were in Vienna and you were doing the European Culture and Society program.
Hmm.
Is that what it's called? Anyways, so I guess do you want to tell us a little bit about the classes that you took?
Yeah.
Um, just kind of give like a rundown of each of them and your thoughts.
So we had to have like five classes, which was a
Mm-hmm.
lot to have when going from like three to
Mm-hmm.
five. But it was kind of interesting because a lot of the classes I took were mainly English, and I only had like one German class.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like, um, I mean, for the German class, we had to test into whichever class that we had.
Right.
And so luckily I was able to get into like the one that I needed, which was 201 to 202. So it
Mm-hmm.
was like the intermediate to like beginner intermediate to like intermediate level,
Mm-hmm.
which was nice and a good place for me to, I guess, like develop my German while being in a German speaking country. And then I also took business of wine, which I mentioned earlier, which is just like a fun class on like learning about like wine and like the different kinds and like different regions where like some are grown and the business of like I guess like making it and then producing it and then redistributing it.
Mm-hmm.
Another one I took was espionage and diplomacy,
Okay.
which was just like a class talking about like spying on different like countries and like I guess like how that works.
Interesting.
Which it was really like I guess like fun class because it taught me a lot about I guess like how spying works within like different contexts and also how it's portrayed within media as well with
Uh-huh.
different spy movies and shows and stuff and like how I guess like that is kind of like played off as like a bigger thing than it is, but
Yeah.
it still is pretty important. Another class that I also had was sustainable cities, which is
Oh,
was like a sustainable, or like environmental studies class,
yeah.
and that involved just like learning about cities and like how I guess ways they've been trying to implement more sustainable practices.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the last class that I took was also like another environmental studies class. It was like the circular economy, and it
Okay.
just basically talked about like how I guess like different businesses could be able to develop like a circular economy, so then they're not like producing much more waste than they're supposed to be.
Mm-hmm. That's really cool. I feel like that's a nice mix of courses, like from a variety of different like perspectives. It's not like you're just all in on German or all in on politics or something like that. So that's really cool. Did you have a favorite out of those?
I would definitely say like my favorite was my business of wine class.
Yeah.
It was it was pretty like interesting just being able to learn about like different types of wine because I knew nothing about it.
Uh-huh.
So just learning about I guess like the different variations of it and like how red wine and white wine and sparkling wine and sweet wine are made, and then like we would be able to sample three different types of wine like every single class
Wow.
after, and just be able to like talk to like one another about like, oh, which ones like they've known, I mean we've known before,
Mm-hmm.
which ones we don't know. And our professor was like a wine like connoisseur, like he would test like 50 bottles of wine like every day, like
Oh
off
my
of like a sip,
gosh.
and then like spit it out and then like rate it
Uh-huh.
and grade it. um and that was just really interesting to learn more about.
Wow. That sounds like such an interesting class, and I kind of feel like it's I don't know. That seems like one of like the quintessential study abroad classes. I feel like every program offers some sort of wine or wine science or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's um I feel like that's an iconic kind of program course. So you could kind of talk about like what the housing situation is like for like getting into your program. Do you live with other study abroad students, Austrian students, things
Mm-hmm.
like that?
So before applying to the program, like they would send out like a little information tidbit about I guess like which housing options are available.
Uh-huh.
So the main three that were available were, I mean, main four-ish kind of. One was like a homestay, but like
Yeah.
you had to like apply for it and then also like do a German like interview to see if your German's good enough to be able to do that.
Right.
The second option was living with other students in a shared like apartment,
Mm-hmm.
and those were related. I mean, those were kind of like in the same district as each other, so it was easier for people to move around the city.
Gotcha.
The third option was living like by yourself in a room in like a kind of a hotel. It was called like the social hub,
Uh-huh.
and like the program like rents out or like gives us like a room in like a certain specific hall,
Yeah.
and like the majority of that hall is filled with like IES students.
Uh-huh.
So then we would all have our own individual room, but then also like have a shared kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the last option was just also like a shared apartment, but like with lesser people. So
Gotcha.
then the first shared apartment had like six people, but then the other one had close to like two people living together.
Okay.
So, but I chose the social house, the
Oh
social
yeah.
hub one because I kind of like living alone,
Mm-hmm.
and so it was really nice because my room was huge. If you go on the
The
off
website.
campus what website, Instagram or
Ah, yes.
anything, like I showed like a little tour of it, but my room was really big. It was really nice, and the kitchen also was really
Mm-hmm.
good too with space, and then also like uh you know, it was really nice, but it definitely didn't offer like the ability to be sociable with like your other people
Right.
in your program because we all just like had our own separate rooms, so we didn't need to interact.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, I would say like that was the only disadvantage of it.
Okay. So I'm assuming was that like a hostel? Is that
Yeah,
so like okay.
kind of. Yeah.
Um so we also had that option while I was studying abroad, except it wasn't just IES students, it was like also random travelers. Was that the case or was it pretty much just IES students in there?
Um, I mean, from what they kind of explained, it was like certain like blocks of like the building had like IES students,
Okay,
but like
gotcha.
also like just regular like customers like hotel stairs would like
Right.
be in there from time to time, but the majority of us were in like our own separate halls on different
Okay,
floors.
nice. So, but you said you had a shared kitchen,
Hmm.
right? So that was that like like people would make dinner together or anything, or were you guys pretty
I feel like for my floor at least, we were pretty like isolated
okay?
because yeah, none of us really talked to each other. Then we like really needed to, or like if were in the kitchen and then like making something, we'd obviously like be cordial and be like, hey, how are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Talk about it and stuff.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. And how many students were in your program?
I'd say close to like 100 maybe or
Okay.
120.
So pretty big
I
for
think so. Yeah.
yeah, for study abroad programs. So interesting. And like I guess I haven't actually asked anyone this before, but like what was kind of like the average class size of your classes?
It was like 9
Okay, so
of us.
small.
Yeah, it was pretty. Actually, yeah, no. Let me redact what I said.
Redacted.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
think it was like close to like 50, 60 people. Yeah, 50, 60 people. And then like our class sizes normally were like 9 to like 12 ish.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Um, okay. And so now let's transition a little bit to what it's like living in Vienna. I guess normally people have things to say about like public transit or things they like to see,
Mhm.
but you can kind of take it wherever you want.
Okay. I guess like I'll start with my first day there because it was really interesting. I was coming in on like a late flight, so then like I was like waiting for a little bit before like the liaison like came to like greet
Mm-hmm.
me and one other person who were there. So then like they took us to like a building that was close to the airport to like sign us in and like get us ready to I guess like live where we were gonna
Yeah.
be living for the next 4 months. And so like we went there and then like they told us not to take public transportation on the first day because that was just gonna be like all confusing and stuff.
Uh huh.
So luckily we didn't, but um I also found out that like taxis and stuff were really expensive.
Oh yeah.
They're yeah, they were really expensive for no reason. But um, we had to take a taxi to the social hub, so we just like split the cost of it
Uh huh.
after. But on the second day, like I took public transportation for the first time. It was wonderful. Like I really like Vienna's public transportation system.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in New York, so like New York public transportation versus like Vienna public transportation. I love Vienna's so much more.
Uh
It's
huh.
clean, it's efficient. They give good reminders, but in German, but then also in English. So like it's a good mix.
Mm-hmm.
But I also felt like the public transportation was also like really fast too, because like it would just go like from one stop to the next to the next. You couldn't really like hold open the doors. You couldn't really like stop it from moving.
Uh
It
huh.
just like was really efficient. But yeah, it was really like a fun time exploring that first week that we got to be there
Yeah.
because it was just us like walking around the city, meeting other people from the program, and
Mm-hmm.
trying to make like friendships and connections.
Right.
Um, and like they gave us our schedules and like what class we were taking, and
Mm-hmm.
um, told us like certain dates that were good for traveling and not good for traveling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool. And then I guess some programs offer like little adventures. I don't know, like little
Yeah.
trips
Hmm.
with them. Did your program offer any? And
Yeah.
did you go on any?
Um, my program offered like a lot of different trips, like every few or no, I'm like every week or every few weeks or so.
Okay.
And then they had like bigger trips too.
Mm-hmm.
But the smaller trips were like going around Vienna, like going to different museums that were
Uh-huh.
open, or going to like a flea market, which is just like a flea market.
Uh-huh.
And like just like exploring around Vienna and trying new places. There was like a food hop that I went on, which involved us like going to different food stops and trying food in
Yeah.
Vienna, which was really nice. And there was also a dessert one too, which I went on, and I got to try like a lot of different like Viennese desserts, like uh, uh, like Apfelstrudel,
Mm-hmm.
Kaiserschmarrn, which is just like a pancake basically, but like cut up and like with like a lot of butter and like plum sauce and applesauce.
Okay.
Um, and a Zakatorte, which is just like a chocolate cake with like an apricot filling.
Interesting.
A lot of them, a lot of the like little hops were like really fun,
Uh-huh.
and like a lot of people were able to like make a lot of friendships from them, which allowed them to be able to go to different places with each other. Um, I there was also like, I mean, the bigger trips, as I mentioned, like there was one that involved going to Linz, which is like a smaller trip to like a small town
Uh-huh.
in like close to Vienna.
Hmm.
And there was also a skiing trip which I went on,
Right.
which
Yeah.
was amazing. Like, I mean, that was my first time skiing, but it was really fun, and
Yeah.
like I fell like once, which is really nice. Um, but yeah, they
So
offer a lot of stuff.
yeah, so did you go to the Alps for the ski trip?
Yeah, I don't know if it was the Alps. It was like close to. It was in Salzburg. Yeah,
Ah, okay,
Salzburg in
gotcha.
like the mountains.
Yeah.
So it was really nice and really fun.
Yeah. That's super cool. It's nice that you got to do like your first time skiing. I've never went skiing and I was living pretty close to the ski places, but that's just I get too worried about breaking bones. So,
Yeah, no.
yeah.
Some people, I mean, they gave us warnings about it because a lot of people would come back from like the ski trip with like broken legs or like torn ACLs,
Yeah.
which happened last year, and they were warning us about it. So, I mean, someone did end up getting really hurt. No, I mean, kind of like got like a sprained like sprained like ankle and stuff. So,
Ah, okay. Eh, yeah, I mean, it could be worse,
mhm.
but yeah. Well, that's cool. And did you kind of, I mean, Vienna's a fairly large city. So did you feel like you, by the end, had kind of gotten to explore a lot of it? Or did you sort of find your like section of Vienna and mainly stay in that part?
um, I was like I was luckily able to go to a lot of the different districts that they have
Hmm.
because there are 23 districts, I think, from what I'm remembering. And I was able to go to at least like 10 to 12 of them,
Okay.
which was really nice. And a lot of the times, like, I would just be exploring
Hmm.
the different districts just to like go find fun places or like going to recommended spots from the IES staff, which are really fun because they like would hand out like invitations to like stuff that they're doing outside of it
Hmm.
with Holly, which she was like one of the coordinators,
Hmm.
and she would invite students to go to this little like comedy show
Uh-huh.
she would hold. I mean, she would like be a part of,
Okay.
and that was really
That
fun.
is really cool. Nice. So I assume that you had good vibes from all of the staff at the IS Center, which
Hmm.
I'm not surprised by because everyone that I've talked to has been like, "Oh yes, the IES Center people, they're great."
Lovely.
Um, so did you carve out some like favorite spots? Like if I was going to just show up to Vienna, where would you recommend that I check out sort of things?
Um, I guess luckily like I was able to have like do a little tour for some friends that were in the
Uh-huh.
London program that came to
Okay.
visit me. And I was able to show them the first district, which is like the main city area and stuff. So we
Mhm.
were able to go to Stephansplatz, which is just like a main area of the first district, and it has like a big church with like a giant like watchtower thing, which is always like a great thing to look at. Like the churches and like the statues within Vienna are
Mhm.
lovely. Like the architecture is amazing. Um, and then there's also Cafe Torte, which
Mhm.
has like different like desserts, but it's mainly for I mean Cafe Zacher, which is mainly for like the Zacher Torte, which is like the most famous dessert.
Uh-huh.
And then there's lots of opera houses as well, and there's a
Yeah.
big famous opera house close to the IES Center.
Okay.
Um, and then there's also a lot of museums as well.
Mhm.
Um, there was one that I went to with my class, which was the Natural History Museum,
Okay.
which was really nice and has a lot of cool exhibits and stuff. And I guess like another fun spot to go to would also be it was an ice cream spot that was in I think the second or third district.
Okay.
It has like this famous ice cream like thing called like an ice sman kanuru, which is just like a piece like an ice cream with like apricot filling, and then like surrounding it is just like a crumb outside layer.
Okay. That sounds really good.
Delicious.
It seems like they're really into apricots. Um, yeah, I love hearing about people's food stories because I had so many great desserts and stuff while I studied abroad. So I think eating might be half of the reason to study
Oh
abroad.
yeah, no, yeah, the food choices are really good and a lot healthier than the U.S. ones.
Yes.
A
Oh my
lot.
gosh. I
Um,
know. I felt like I could like I mean, I felt way better even though I felt like I was eating a
hmm
lot more when I was studying abroad. I was like, this is all like real quality. There's not a bunch of processed stuff in it. So
And also, like when I went grocery shopping for the first time and saw like eggs outside, I was like, aren't they gonna go bad? But it's just like, oh no, they're not gonna go bad because of the protective layer that's on it. It's like we don't have a
yeah.
protective layer on our eggs.
Yeah. I mean, oh my gosh. I did a takeover for off-campus programs when I studied abroad in Germany. And one of the things that I did do was take people grocery shopping. And I was like, I promise you, there are eggs in your German grocery store. They're just not in the refrigerated section.
hmm
You just need to look somewhere else for them. And I was so thrown off by that for like the longest time. Did you find that groceries were a lot more affordable?
They were a lot, yeah, they were a lot more affordable, and like even with like, because within like the U.S., like we have to like, I mean, when I normally like buy like cases of water, we just have to like take the entire case, but you could just like pluck out like a
Yeah,
single bottle and say, I was like, that's so much better than just like having to take the entire thing and like lug it around.
right.
And they're a lot more sustainable too, because I would use like the tote bags
Hmm.
that I have, but then also that some tote bags that were given to us from IES
Yeah,
for like groceries and stuff like that.
yeah. No, I think a lot of people get worried about the fact that the most study abroad programs don't have like a meal plan or something like that. But I thought, at least for me, yeah, grocery shopping is super accessible. It's relatively affordable,
hmm
and you also get to pick what you eat when you want to. And I personally loved it, but I don't know. What did you think? Did you prefer like being able to cook for yourself and do your own stuff?
I think like sometimes definitely like being able to cook for myself was like very fun, and like
Yeah.
on like those days where like I didn't have so much to do, like I just try to like make something from like what I got from the grocery store.
Uh-huh.
There was like one time where I was able to like make like garlic fried like broccoli with like chicken on the side, which is really
Gotcha.
nice. But on like days where like I had like a lot of work to do, and like I had because normally like my Thursdays I had German in the morning, and then like I had like an hour and 30 break before I had a 3 hour class, and then I had like a 15-minute break, and then I have another 3 hour class,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just like a lot to go through.
Oh yeah.
And so then coming back home, I just like look at my kitchen, and then like there's just ingredients, and I'm like, oh, now I have to like
Actually cook.
put in the effort to cook. But it was fun though. It was
Yeah.
definitely like good to be able to have the option to do cooking it rather than like just food in
Yeah.
general.
Yeah. No, I think I don't know. I liked my cooking situation. But it also, if you don't like to cook, it can get kind of
hmm
pricey to eat out in most European cities.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
and even I feel like eating out was like its own thing too because of like
Yeah.
culture. I mean, the
Yeah.
dining culture there too. I feel like because I mean there was times where like I'd be eating out with a friend, and then like we'd be done, and I'm just like looking for the way like waiter, hey, like
Come
here,
here.
here,
We're
here,
ready to
please.
leave.
And then just like walking around socializing, and it's just like I'm happy that they're able to like make a living without like having to like do too much for
Uh-huh.
their living, but it's also just like how I want to
Yeah.
leave, yeah.
No, and also if you're going to a place where you don't speak the language super well, eating
Mm-hmm.
out can be so daunting because you have to like basically just like ask to not order in German and all the things, and they're like, yes, I can do that, but they're kind of judging you.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely its own beast.
One of my, I mean, the first week that I was there,
Hmm.
I missed my stop multiple times on the train because like I just be like on my phone with my music listening, and then I'm like, wait, this isn't my stop, and then like I just get off, and then like I have to like look up the words. I mean, because I knew some of the words in German, but not all of them,
Hmm.
and so I guess like through like having to navigate the subway system helped a lot with my German,
Hmm.
and like even like looking at like the posters that were on the wall, and like also ordering food in restaurants too. It's I definitely tried to like socialize a good bit in Austria, but like it's just like trying to speak to someone in German, and then like they hear like one slip up, and then like just revert to like English, and I'm like, like okay, yeah, I get it, but please let me practice.
Yeah.
It was rough, but I feel like sometimes like I was able to like order a good bit in German at restaurants, and they like perfectly understood me, and I was just like happy to have that
Yeah,
practice.
for sure.
And then also like asking for directions in Austria as well. Um, yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that's one of the more intimidating parts of study abroad is the language stuff. But genuinely, I mean, at least if you study in like a place like Austria or Germany, uh, if you don't want to speak German, you don't you don't really have to. Like
Mm-hmm.
most people do speak English. It's actually pretty much everyone I've talked to who has studied abroad for German or in German speaking countries has said that a similar thing about like struggling to find people who will actually speak
Mm-hmm.
German to them once they find out they're American. So yeah, no, I think that's an under or like an overstated fear of
Mm-hmm.
people who study abroad sometimes.
I I guess like also on that point, like make yeah, trying to like make friends or like
Yeah.
do stuff. I mean, funny enough, like I was like given a lot of suggestions of like downloading like dating apps or like socializing apps to like meet new people,
Uh huh.
which was interesting at first because it's just like trying to like connect with someone in a different language, but then also just like I guess like trying to like approach those sort of type relationships like well off. But luckily I was able to like make a good friend from like Bumble, which was really funny enough because like we both like were just like, hey, like we're interested in both the same thing, so it was just like I would practice my German on her, and she would like practice her English as well. So it was just like a good fair exchange, and like I ended up making a good connection, which
That's
was really nice.
awesome. That's really cool. Who would have thought, right? Um, that's a first that I've heard on the podcast.
Okay.
So you can you can be happy there. Um, I guess now, like, what were some of the more difficult parts of study abroad for you? Like, did you have some serious, like, not necessarily serious, but like, did you have some struggles with getting used to the culture, with things like that?
I guess like my three biggest ones would be like, I guess like academic adjustment with like the like having a greater workload.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my second one would be like I guess like trying to make connections even with like people in my like program. Like there would also be like schools that have like bigger students coming all together, so then they
Right.
already know each other, and then they click with another group of students, so then it just all becomes very clicky and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then another one I guess would also be trying to go out of my way to like speak German, which was interesting, but then also like that slow progression of learning was always needed, and
Uh-huh.
like it helps me a lot with like my reading and my writing comprehension a lot more. Um, I guess I'll just go back to like the, the first one
Yeah.
with like classes because having five classes was interesting, and
Mm-hmm.
like having to manage my time with like wanting to go out and adventure or like wanting to just like or needing to like study and like get prepared for like the midterms and stuff like that. And so it was like really different,
Yeah.
but it was like very good for me to be able to have that time to like adjust and to fix my schedule enough to be able to study for one of my classes, but then also to have time to like find fun stuff to do.
Right.
Um, with I guess like meeting people, it was very. I mean, programs like get clicky all the time, so it's weird. But I was able to make a good few like friends in my program, and
Uh-huh.
I was able to go with them to like Rome, which was really fun,
Oh, okay.
and also London, which I loved London. London was one of my favorite like travel spots I went to because I also
Uh-huh.
went to Barcelona, but Barcelona was also really cool. But I felt like London was really nice because the culture and everything. But this is really about London. But yeah, um, and then also I guess like the German thing, like just speaking and reading, and I would grab like newspapers like from the supermarket to like
Mm-hmm.
try to read and go through them and see what words I know, what words I don't know, and also like keeping up with like politics in Austria too was
Yeah.
interesting because there was the whole election that was happening. It was a lot, and like they were telling us about. I mean, the IES staff was telling us about the elections and like also about our U.S. elections, which
Yeah.
was interesting to go through during I guess that whole time being there. But it was I guess like a good learning opportunity in general to like try to deal with I guess like politics from from where you are, but then also within the country that you're living in.
Right. No, that's such a good point. Um, Transitioning a little bit again, I want to hear about your not Austrian travels. Yes. Tell me about those.
So the first place I went to outside of Austria was Barcelona, and I
Okay.
went with one friend that was in the London program and one friend that was also in Spain but
Mm-hmm.
studying for a program in Salamanca.
Gotcha.
And so we were able to come together like like coordinating our schedules was a lot to do, but all do was we're able to like go to Barcelona and like have a good time, walk around the city. We were just like walking around the city and we ran into like a big parade somehow with
Oh.
like giant like mannequins and like people dancing around, and it was really fun. It was really exciting to go to Barcelona because it was just like very much different from like what I knew about it,
Uh-huh.
but then also I guess like what expectations I had of it before going. And then my second place that I traveled to was London, and as I was saying, like London was amazing. Like I loved it. Some people from the London program like showed me and one of my other two friends who were within the same program as me
Mm-hmm.
around, and like we were able to go to different like, can I say, like bars and
Yeah.
oh yeah
Yeah.
bars and clubs, and like we were able to also just like take the subway transportation, which was really weird because yeah, London subway transportation is really weird, but it was fun. It was a great experience to go,
Mm-hmm.
and I got like a lot of like souvenirs from there as
Yeah.
well for my parents. And then the last two kind of places I went to Rome, and then I also went to Naples for like a
Okay.
day trip when I was in Rome. So it was nice to see the Colosseum, take pictures,
Mm-hmm.
like try like authentic like Italian food,
Yeah.
like the pasta and like pizza and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
And then also gelato. Gelato was
Gelato.
delicious. Oh my gosh, it's it kind of makes you sad to like. I mean, ice cream here is good, but it's just like
It's not gelato.
it's not gelato.
Yeah.
But I feel like my travels like did help me see more of like outside of like my the U.S., but then also like the country that I was staying in,
Right.
and definitely it's. I mean, it definitely makes me want to go back to Europe and
Uh-huh.
to go to a few places that I sadly got to miss. Like I didn't get to go to Slovakia, which is like an hour and so away from Austria, which
Yeah.
was pretty. Which from what I was told was really nice and quaint. And then also I didn't get to go to Berlin or Ireland, but
Yeah.
hopefully I can go back and see those places.
Yeah. No, I think studying abroad definitely will either inspire you to like you just want to like globetrot
Mm-hmm.
so hard, but I think um it's lots of people have told me, and I agree that while you're studying abroad, it just makes so much more sense to travel, and that once you get back, you're kind of like, oh my gosh, it's so expensive to like, because
Mm-hmm.
to go to Europe. you have to want to go for a long enough time to like make
Yeah.
it worth the flight prices. Yeah.
It
And
was
so, oh,
expensive for that plane for the
for
plane
those
ticket
plane
and back,
tickets.
and
Yeah.
then also for like, I mean, because mine took like not like 9 to 11 hours for me to
Yeah.
get there.
Yeah. So it's definitely not like you can't I don't in my opinion, I wouldn't be able to go to Europe for like a week.
Hmm.
Like that's not long enough to make any sort of sense
Hmm.
time-wise or cost-wise. So it's just I also I'm like I just want to go back, but I'm like but when?
Did you also go to Oktoberfest when you were in?
I went in the spring, so I
Oh,
wasn't
oh.
there for Oktoberfest. But did you
Mm.
go to Oktoberfest?
I had friends that, I mean, I went to the one that was in Vienna, and it
Okay.
was
How was
really
it?
fun. Like it was like just people in like lederhosen and a girdle, or I don't know what the women's ones are called, but
I don't know either.
it was really fun, and like there was just like a ton of people like just swarming towards the, I mean, because I lived in the second district, and so
Uh-huh.
in the second districts near like a big club, they were hosting like the whole Oktoberfest part, so I was able to go for a night with some friends,
Okay.
and it was really fun. It was just really packed too. There was like people like with like giant like gallons of beer, just like taking swigs of it, and like just like a lot of partying. So
Yeah.
it was fun.
Nah, the Europeans, they know how to do it. Yeah. Um, so I guess do you have any like things that you wish you would have known before you had studied abroad? Or that could also be advice for somebody who's going to study abroad.
Um, I guess some, or I mean, something I wish I would have known is, I guess, like trying to plan out a lot of things in advance,
Yeah.
because I feel, I mean, I knew some people who were just like booking tickets immediately as they got to Vienna, and like they were trying to go to like this ways every weekend, this ways, and then the weather during like one weekend in Vienna was like so bad that like the train systems were down for like
Uh-huh.
an entire day,
Oh my
and
goodness.
so it was just like they had to like cancel. I mean, their tickets were like weren't refunded, so then like they just spent like so much money on trying to go to a different place. So I guess like trying to plan in advance, but like not too advanced, so you
Mm-hmm.
don't know like what's gonna happen. Um, I guess like another piece of advice would be like making a list, because I was able to like make like a small list of like little places I want to go here, there, want to get little souvenirs here and here, and I guess like that helps me out with like budgeting wise, and
Okay.
like knowing what things I'm willing to spend money on and what I'm not. But then
Mm-hmm.
also like budgeting is also a big thing as well,
Yeah.
with like food and with like, I guess like fun activities as one, and like buying books for your classes and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah,
Okay. Interesting. Um, do you have any budgeting advice?
I definitely feel like a good part of my budget was like mainly on like survival stuff.
Survival
So
stuff.
like food, like having like toiletries and like
Right.
all the necessary things you need to
The
bring.
necessities.
Like funny enough, like I brought like a lot of like toiletries and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
like for the first like 2 months, I didn't need to like buy like any like soap or like toothpaste or like
Yeah.
whatever. So then like I was able to like use that for like just going out and like
Mm-hmm.
having fun. And then also like, also, I mean, budgeting is good, but then also like if something happens in the spur of the moment, then just go for it.
Yeah. Don't
Because
like limit yourself.
mm-hmm.
If there's something you're really into, you're only gonna be there once, like
Yeah,
for that amount of time.
so you
So
just have to go and do it sometimes. Because I mean, I got this shirt from a
ah,
spot in Vienna, a thrifting spot, because I really
very
liked
nice.
thrifting. And I also got my tattoos in Vienna. Or, I don't know if you can see them,
Awesome. What
but
are they?
this is just like some planets like Saturn, Sun and Moon, and then a black hole.
Okay.
It's just like a big Pokemon Rayquaza.
Okay, cool.
So I mean, I was luckily able to like have like the IES staff like give me some recommendations for like tattoo spots, but then also like them being like, hey, like if you want to find a spot and like go there and like have a good experience, like let us know so we can be able to put it on there for future students in advance.
Yeah.
And so that was like a really good and beneficial thing that
Yeah.
happened. I also was able to like get my hair done in Vienna too. It was hard to find a spot for black students who have black hair, so it was really interesting. But one of my friends like found someone to do her hair, and then she recommended me to her, and then I passed it on to IES, so then the next students that come could be able to go to her.
That's awesome. I feel like that sort of like word of mouth stuff is really helpful with finding the right people, because there are things like that that can like make or break kind of your experience, I think,
Mm-hmm.
and how you feel like at home or comfortable in your city and your place. So,
I guess also like Lawrence's communication was really nice
okay.
with like asking for like different advice. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
for the stuff with like the takeovers, which I think if you are abroad, try to do a takeover because it's very fun, and Leon's very good at reaching out.
Look for an
Um,
email from me.
mhm. Because when I saw because before leaving, I was like looking on the page and I was like, yeah, I'm definitely gonna try to do a takeover no
Uh-huh.
matter what. And when I saw the email, I was like, yes, yes. And
Let's
then
go.
I did a takeover. It was really fun. I enjoyed just like posting my experience on there. So then for future students, they could be able to like know a little bit more than
Mm-hmm.
what I knew before going to the program.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, and I mean having the students do the takeovers is so it's so like rewarding for us who work at off-campus programs to see that you guys are having a good time, and like you said, get to have that as like a little piece of your journey that will forever be associated with our Instagram page. So, in 5 years, if you were like, man, I want to relive some of the golden era, and you could go back and look at your day that
Mm-hmm.
day. Yeah. No, I think that's thank you for shouting
Yeah,
out
no, of course.
the
I loved
Instagram
it.
stuff.
Yeah.
Love it.
um I would also say like
Yeah.
if you want to go to like a program, like you could like reach out to them and they might be able to connect you to students who have gone to a program, so then you could talk to them and just try to see what their experience was like and try to get information so you know like where you're going would be the right place for you.
Yeah, absolutely. How is being back at Lawrence going for you right now?
I think it's going good so far.
Good.
Yeah. I feel like I don't know. I mean, after because I was there from August 26th
Mm-hmm.
until December 14th. So it was long, and during I guess like Thanksgiving was when I started to really miss home a
Yeah.
lot. And I guess like during those times, I mean, if you are abroad, then like you should definitely try to like connect with people and
Mm-hmm.
like have like your own little Thanksgiving, which I was able to do luckily with some
Good.
friends. And with like the IS program also like hosted like a big Thanksgiving event for us,
Mm-hmm.
so that was like really fun, and like everyone talked and like ate Thanksgiving food in Vienna, which was interesting. But yeah, it was a lot to go through. But and then I went back to New York for a little bit to spend time with my family
Mm-hmm.
and my friends, and it was really nice just to reconnect. And coming back here was also really nice to see
Yeah.
my friends and to get back to I guess like the Lawrence
The
busy,
Lawrence busy.
which definitely is a lot to do. And I feel like even like the weather too is also making it a bit much, but I feel like it's nice being back and
Uh-huh.
being able to come back to the same experiences that I left,
Yeah.
but then also coming back as like a newer or like different person.
Right. And well, side note, I've been very excited to see that you are playing intramural volleyball again. Yay. Good old days. Anyway, speaking of how you come back and it's a little everything's a little different because of the experiences you've had. Do you do you want to talk about or share anything that you feel like you really learned about, I mean, not academically, but I feel like study abroad can be a very transformative experience. And
Mm-hmm.
are there any like sort of life lessons that you felt like you got out of it?
I guess like the biggest one that I got out of it was just like to be yourself and to like explore more of your interests,
Mm-hmm.
cause and to get outside of your own comfort zone as well. because my biggest thing with going to study abroad was like I was really nervous about like trying to make new friends and like build new connections and like
Yeah.
also trying new things that were abroad. But I feel like just trying them were like really fun, and like even if I didn't like something, I just like at least I had the experience of not liking it.
Right.
And then also like knowing that like you're getting outside of your own comfort zone, which helps a lot to build your own confidence in yourself and to be more aware of the fact that it's your life that you're living and it's
Mm-hmm.
no one else's. So you just have to do what makes you happy and to push yourself to be the best you that you can be.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. That's some top tier inspirational stuff right there. Um, I guess, do you have any other like final sort of thoughts or anything you want to touch on?
um I guess like if you are able to study abroad, whether it's your like sophomore year or your junior year, which I did,
Mm-hmm.
definitely take the opportunity to do so and go to the sessions that the off-campus program
Yeah.
has. Because I went to the one that was in Zoo Day, that was at Zoo Days,
Okay.
and that helped me a lot with like learning more about like what Austria has to offer, but then
Uh-huh.
also students within Lawrence who are also with the same program as you, so you could like talk with them and try to like plan some things out.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, just trying to work with off campus as much as possible,
Absolutely.
and then also going on the off campus page because I was on there like every few weeks, like looking up new things and like trying to like I guess like plan out like what I might be interested in doing.
Right.
So getting those ideas from whatever source you can is major.
Nice. And side note, but what kind of students would you recommend do the Austria program specifically?
Um, I guess like even if you're not like a German like major or
Mm-hmm.
minor, you should. I mean, I think it would be fun. Like definitely, Austria is in like the center of Europe,
Yeah.
so then you can travel around to a lot of different places, and it's fairly easy to like get bus or train tickets to like a close country or like even the even like the air travel, like with like I mean I use like Ryanair
Mm-hmm.
in Europe a lot, so it was like very cheap, and so
Yeah.
like you could be able to like go on like a weekend trip to a whole different other country and then come back the next day like tired, but like still like having a great time. So
Yeah.
definitely like doing that.
Nice. And then last thing I always like to do is let my guests shout out anything that you like to do on campus that you want to like show some love to.
Mhm.
So whatever you'd like to talk about.
I'm a part of Beta Psi Nu sorority. So Beta Psi Nu is a multicultural women's and non-binary sorority on campus, and it's amazing. So you should check it out. And also, I'm one of the vice presidents of BSU Black Student Union,
Uh-huh.
and it's Black History Month. So I guess like come to our events and have fun and get to know more about Black culture, but still just like come and get to know us too because we're always there. So yeah,
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for chatting about your times and uh, what am I going to say? And we'll see you next time on Beyond Borders.